Philosophies revived.
Have you ever had one of those days where everything seems to go wrong from the moment you wake up? Your alarm doesn't go off, your coffee tastes like despair, and every red light on your way seems personally out to get you. That feeling bubbling up inside you, tightening your chest and heating your head, that's anger, my friend, an old companion of ours that's as misunderstood as it is maligned. Anger, in its essence, is like fire. Handled with care, it can be the spark that lights the way to change and action. Let it run wild though, and it leaves destruction in its wake. It's a primal response, one that's been with us since our cave-dwelling days, meant to protect us from threats. But in our modern world, the threats aren't saber-toothed tigers, they're traffic jams, snarky emails, and endless queues at the checkout line. We all deal with these modern-day beasts, and how we handle them defines our daily experience. Do we let the beast of anger lead us by the nose, or do we learn to tame it, to understand its language and use its energy in a way that serves us instead of enslaving us? Understanding anger. First, let's understand what anger really is, a secondary emotion. It's a bodyguard for more vulnerable feelings like fear, hurt, or frustration. When someone cuts us off in traffic, it's not just the recklessness we react to, it's the fear of an accident or the hurt of being disrespected. Anger rushes in to protect us, puffing us up to face the threat. It's not just an emotion, it's an emotional suit of armor. But here's the thing about armor, it's heavy. Carry it around all the time, and it doesn't just protect you, it imprisons you. The key then is to recognize when anger is knocking on your door and to decide consciously whether to let it in. Taming the beast. Taming anger begins with recognition. It's about feeling that heat rise in your cheeks, that clench in your fists, and taking a moment to pause. This pause is powerful. It's a space you create between stimulus and response, where you have the power to choose. It's where you ask yourself, is this worth my peace? The Stoics, those ancient masters of inner tranquility, knew a thing or two about this. They saw emotions, not as good or bad, but as messengers. Anger to them was a sign that something was amiss, but not something to act on impulsively. They advocated for living according to nature. And what's more natural than observing, understanding, and then responding with reason? A Stoic's approach to daily annoyances. So, when the daily annoyances of life come knocking, a Stoic doesn't slam the door in anger. Instead, they welcome these challenges as opportunities to practice patience, understanding, and perspective. That traffic jam becomes a chance to listen to a podcast or enjoy some quiet time. The snarky email is an opportunity to practice compassion and professionalism. It's not about denying anger or suppressing it. That's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It will pop up when you least expect it, and with greater force. It's about recognizing anger, acknowledging it, and then choosing to respond in a way that aligns with your values and well-being. Transforming anger. But what about when anger is justified? When we're faced with injustice, cruelty, or abuse? Even then, the Stoics offer wisdom. They remind us that it's not anger that drives us to action, but our values and our commitment to justice and kindness. Anger can be the spark, but let reason and compassion be the fuel that sustains your actions. In this way, we transform the energy of anger into something constructive and aligned with our highest selves. The road ahead. As we embark on this journey of taming the beast of anger, remember, it's a path, not a destination. There will be days when anger gets the best of us, when we react instead of respond. And that's okay. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. It's about becoming a little more patient, a little more understanding, and a lot more in control of our inner world. So next time anger shows up, greet it like an old friend. Listen to what it has to say, then kindly remind it who's in charge. With practice, patience, and a bit of Stoic wisdom, we can ensure that anger is a tool in our arsenal, not the enemy at our gates. In the tapestry of human emotions, anger often appears as a vibrant, all-consuming red. It's a primal scream in the quiet museum of our inner lives. Now, imagine walking into the calm, cool gallery of Stoicism, where each emotion is not suppressed, but understood, not feared, but managed. Here, in the Stoic view, anger is not a ruler, but a subject, a powerful force that, when understood, can be redirected towards growth and wisdom. The Stoic lens. The Stoics, with their keen insight into human nature, didn't demonize anger. Instead, they dissected it. To them, anger wasn't an uncontrollable fire. It was a predictable reaction to perceived wrongs, a side effect of thwarted desires, or the outcome of misplaced expectations. By understanding its roots, we can begin to manage its growth. Consider the Stoic philosopher Seneca, who likened anger to a temporary madness, a departure from reason. But within this madness lies a choice, the choice to engage with anger mindfully or to let it consume us. The Stoics propose a radical idea that we have the power to choose our responses to the world's provocations. Breaking down anger. To understand anger, the Stoics suggest starting with self-reflection. What are the triggers? Often, they're tied to our expectations. We expect the world to behave a certain way, and when it doesn't, we react. But what if we adjusted our expectations, not lowering them, but aligning them with the understanding that we control very little outside our own thoughts and actions? This isn't resignation, it's empowerment. When you acknowledge that the only true power you have is over your own responses, life's unpredictability becomes less threatening. The driver cutting you off, the unkind word from a colleague, these become not reasons for anger, but tests of your Stoic resolve. Applying Stoic principles. How then do we apply these Stoic principles to the heat of an angry moment? It starts with the pause. This pause is your fortress, your moment to retreat and consult with reason. Ask yourself, will anger serve me here? Or is there another response that aligns more closely with the person I want to be? Then, engage with empathy. The Stoics knew that everyone is fighting their own hard battle. That person who wronged you, they're acting out of their own set of fears, desires, and misunderstandings. Recognizing this doesn't excuse their behavior, but it does diffuse the anger, transforming it from a blazing fire into a manageable spark. The path forward. As we walk the Stoic path, we learn to view each instance of anger not as an obstacle, but as an opportunity to practice patience, to deepen our understanding of ourselves, and to reinforce our commitment to living according to reason. This doesn't mean you won't feel anger. You will, but you'll also have the tools to ensure it doesn't lead you astray. Remember, the goal of Stoicism isn't to extinguish emotions, but to harmonize them with reason. Anger then becomes a signal, a signpost pointing towards areas of our life where we need to adjust our expectations, deepen our empathy, or strengthen our resolve. Stoicism and the modern world. In our modern, fast-paced world, anger can seem like a constant companion. Social media, politics, daily stresses, all can be sources of anger. But here too, Stoic wisdom provides a sanctuary. By understanding the nature of anger, by reflecting on our expectations, and by choosing our responses, we can navigate even the stormiest seas with a sense of calm and purpose. The Stoic journey through anger is not about suppression, but about understanding. Not about denial, but about transformation. It's a journey we undertake, not just for our own peace, but for the harmony of all those whose lives we touch. Life is a series of events, a mix of the unexpected and the inevitable. Within this mix, anger often finds fertile ground to grow, nurtured by frustrations, misunderstandings, and the gap between our expectations and reality. The Stoic approach to kicking anger to the curb is not about denying these feelings, but about navigating them with wisdom and grace. mindful recognition. Recognition is the first step in the Stoics' guide to managing anger. It's about becoming an observer of your own mind, noticing when anger starts to simmer, and acknowledging it without judgment. This is where mindfulness comes into play. Mindfulness teaches us to observe our thoughts and emotions as they are, without getting swept away by them. For a Stoic, this means acknowledging anger, but not allowing it to dictate actions. Imagine you're in a situation that typically triggers anger. Instead of immediately reacting, take a moment to step back. Visualize your anger as a separate entity, standing beside you, clamoring for attention. By doing this, you create space between you and your anger, allowing room for reason to step in. Stoic pause and reflect. Once you've recognized anger, the next step is the Stoic pause. This pause is your moment of power, the juncture where you choose how to respond rather than react. It's about asking, is this within my control? If not, then it falls into the category of things Stoics advise us to accept rather than fight against. During this pause, reflect on the impermanence of the situation and the emotion itself. Remember Marcus Aurelius's words, "This too shall pass." Whether it's a traffic jam or a delayed project at work, remind yourself that the situation is temporary and that your peace of mind is more valuable than giving in to a fleeting emotion. Choosing your response. The essence of Stoicism lies in the power of choice. Every day, every moment, we choose our responses to the external world. The Stoics' guide to anger management is centered around choosing responses that align with our values, that contribute to our well-being and the well-being of those around us. When faced with potential anger, ask yourself, what response would serve me and the situation best? Sometimes, it may be to address an issue directly, but calmly. Other times, it might be to let go, recognizing that some battles are not worth the cost to your inner peace. Transforming anger into constructive action. The Stoics didn't see emotions as inherently bad. Instead, they saw the potential for transforming emotions like anger into positive action. Anger about injustice can fuel efforts to create change. Anger about personal shortcomings can motivate growth and improvement. The key is to ensure that the action taken is rational, measured, and aligned with your principles. It's not about acting on every anger impulse, but about discerning which feelings of anger point towards areas in your life or in the world that you can positively influence. Daily Stoic practices. To incorporate Stoicism into daily life as a means of managing anger, consider adopting a few practices. Morning reflection. Start each day with a few minutes of reflection on what might challenge your patience or provoke anger. Prepare yourself mentally to meet these challenges with calmness and perspective. Evening review. Reflect on the day's events. Acknowledge moments when anger arose and examine how you handled them. Consider what you might do differently next time. Journaling. Writing about your experiences with anger can provide insights into patterns and triggers, helping you manage your responses more effectively. The path to peace. Managing anger through Stoicism is a journey, not a destination. It's about continuous growth, learning, and striving to live in harmony with the world around us. By understanding anger, recognizing it, pausing to reflect, choosing our response, and transforming anger into action, we walk the Stoic path towards inner peace and wisdom. This path doesn't promise that you'll never feel angry again. Instead, it offers the tools to ensure that when anger visits, it doesn't derail your peace of mind or your commitment to living a virtuous life. Empathy, in the Stoic sense, involves stepping outside oneself to view situations from others' perspectives, recognizing that everyone has their battles, fears, and struggles that we might not be aware of. This shift in viewpoint is a powerful antidote to anger. When someone acts in a way that might initially provoke anger in us, employing empathy allows us to consider what might be driving their behavior. Imagine you're confronted by a colleague's harsh words. Instead of reacting with immediate anger, a Stoic-inspired empathy encourages you to consider the pressures they might be under. This isn't about excusing negative behavior, but understanding its context, which often diminishes the anger's hold over us. Practicing empathy. Practicing empathy begins with active listening and a genuine attempt to understand others' experiences and emotions, without immediate judgment or advice. It's about acknowledging their struggles, fears, and motivations as valid, even if they're different from your own. A daily exercise could involve reflecting on a recent interaction that stirred feelings of annoyance or anger in you. Revisit the situation, but this time, try to imagine the internal narrative of the other person involved. What pressures might they be facing? What fears could be influencing their actions? This practice not only cultivates empathy, but also strengthens your ability to maintain composure in future interactions. Let go of entitlement, the Stoic release. Entitlement, or the belief that we deserve certain treatments or outcomes, is a significant source of anger. The Stoic approach encourages us to let go of this sense of entitlement. It teaches us that while we can strive for excellence and work towards goals, we are not owed anything by the world. This realization can be liberating. It shifts our focus from what we believe we should receive to what we can control, our efforts, our attitudes, and our responses. When we let go of entitlement, we open ourselves to gratitude for what we do have, reducing the instances where unmet expectations can lead to anger. Practicing letting go. A practical way to let go of entitlement involves gratitude exercises. Each day, take a moment to list things you are thankful for, including those that challenge you, as they provide opportunities for growth and learning. This practice helps recalibrate our expectations and reduces the potency of anger when things don't go our way. Embrace forgiveness, rising above anger. Forgiveness, a concept deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, is seen as a strength, a deliberate choice to release feelings of resentment or vengeance towards someone who has harmed you. It's understanding that holding on to anger harms you more than it affects the perpetrator. Forgiveness is not about forgetting the harm done or absolving someone of their actions. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of anger, choosing peace and inner tranquility over ongoing conflict. Practicing forgiveness. To practice forgiveness, start with smaller grievances. Reflect on a minor wrong you've been holding on to and consciously decide to let it go. Acknowledge the hurt, but then shift your focus to your capacity for compassion and understanding. This exercise isn't just about the other person. It's about affirming your resilience and your commitment to not being defined by anger. The Stoic journey through anger management doesn't promise an anger-free life. Instead, it offers a framework for understanding, experiencing, and ultimately choosing how we respond to anger. Through empathy, letting go of entitlement, and practicing forgiveness, we can navigate life's challenges with greater calm, understanding, and wisdom. As we incorporate these Stoic principles into our daily lives, we cultivate a profound inner peace that extends outward, influencing our relationships and interactions in more positive, constructive ways. It's a path of continuous growth where each step forward enriches our journey with deeper insights and a more fulfilling engagement with the world around us.